So I started to look for my training before summer of last year, as well it was a little bit difficult to get a job. So I decided to take my training here in Finland, in Oulu more specifically. And it took me about 1 month to get a training place, in fact. So I found a training place in the University of Applied Sciences platform. It's called OIVA. That's where I find it. My advice for anybody that is looking for a training place is that you have to be quite active, and I think that you have to stand out a little bit because there's a lot of applicants. And if you stand out and you are quite active, you will probably get a training place quite soon. Here in Tavik, I am responsible of the product design as well as pretty much everything that is related to graphic design. So my tasks include wireframing, prototyping, UI motion, user research, user experience research, printing material, roll-ups, flyers, everything that is going to help for Tavik to boost up the brand. So here in Tavik, I have learned a lot of things, and I think it's a great experience in the sense that it allows you to get hands-on with professional experience, as well as they take into account that you have to learn new things. So that gives you a little bit of space to play around with new tools. So you get quite a lot of new knowledge in things that are not related to university or to university subjects. And the best part of all this is that you get to find what your real passion is, what you want to really work on. I think my practical training has been very good for my professional career, because in so little time I got so many things, and I actually got good feedback from my bosses. So it doesn't only help me professionally, but it personally gives me confidence in what I do, and it adds value on myself as well as my professional career. My best experience in practical training is that I met people from China, from Finland, from Russia. I have been in Stockholm, I have been in Oslo, probably going to go to South Korea. There's a chance that I go to Brussels as well. And overall, I'm meeting a lot of new people. I'm going to a lot of events, and I am part of the family, let's say.
I joined OAMC in 2015, August, and 1 month after joining OAMC, I started looking for a practical training place, because I have been in IT before that, around 4 years, but I never had practical experience before. But I did some freelancing with different friends, but it was of course not professional, or it cannot be calculated a company experience. So I was looking for a practical training anywhere within Finland. So I tried in maybe 20-30 different companies, but then I got one offer from Pimega Oil in Oulu, and they offered me a practical training place, and it lasted for 3 months from January 1st, 2016. When applying for a practical training place, it takes some patience and tries. You need to apply again and again, just don't get disappointed. But on the other side, you can do is that you can improve yourself, improve your skills, make your portfolio really appear or stand out from others, because this is what an employer will look at your portfolio, and then he will decide or she will decide that okay, this kind of person we are looking for. And then there are options that you can choose, paid or unpaid, and there are again options that there are some companies who want to hire you after your practical training depending upon your performance, and some will not continue with you because of some policies or because they don't want anybody to continue with them at this point. After getting my first practical training, which was specifically connected with Magento, so I was working as a Magento developer, and my usual tasks used to be working with Linux servers, installing new instances of Magento for different clients and configuring the web servers for them, and then moving some internal modules to newest versions, and modifying some old patches or some security or some fixes to the sites. Well, during the school time, you take different courses, you learn different kind of information which is scattered, but you don't know where to join them. This is what professional training does to you. When I went to my first practical training, it taught me how to join all that scattered information and become a professional, how a professional life works. It gave me inner view of a company and inner view of how a person can develop himself or herself as professionally. And after this practical training, after I think 11 days, I landed on my first full-time professional job, where I'm continuing at this point as a backend developer. During practical training, I developed myself professionally, and I got the chance to meet different people who are in the field and who are working on the real-time projects. And as they say, that you develop your mentality when you are in a group. So I would say that being in a group of professionals helped me develop professionally, because in a company, everyone other than me had a couple of years experience in practical life, like real-time projects.
So it's nice to see you, Victor. I heard that you have great news from your training place.
Yeah.
And now I'd like to make you some questions so that you can tell more about your experience. So when did you start looking for your practice place?
I think I started, well, basically I was aiming on getting place for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to start a bit in advance, and the first time I thought of practical place was maybe in November,
Okay.
October, November 2015.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the period started, the searching period started, and I started browsing companies which are in Oulu region, because I wanted to do practical training here in Finland, and especially in Oulu, and it was a long process.
How did you kind of browse the companies? What kind of website maybe you went to, or how did you find about the companies?
Well, first of all, I visited Fair.
Yes.
What was the name? Tuuni.
Tuuni
Event, yeah,
Yes.
which we had here in school. But before that, I was just browsing list of the companies which are located in Oulu. And I was
Okay.
also asking my friends if they know any good places. I asked one teacher from our school about the place, and actually she helped me with getting right contact person in Polar.
Excellent. So you got a place in Polar.
Yeah.
Okay. How actually, I have heard that it was not so easy to get a place in Polar Electro, because it's one of the most wanted places in Oulu. They really do a lot of marketing there, and they employ, at best times they have had, I think, 20 people.
In the team, yeah.
So how was it that you get into Polar, you know? So you had some connections, you found right people, but after that?
Yeah, so the first step was to find the right person to contact.
Yes.
But it was well, I wouldn't say it was the easiest part, but probably took the smallest amount of time for that, to find a person. After that, the long process started. So basically, I contacted a couple of times my supervisor, future supervisor at Polar, and I had to be persistent. That's one thing which she admired in me. She said, yes, I really like that you were persistent. It was quite tricky to find that level of persistence.
Yeah.
You know, not to be too tough.
How did you do it? Did you email? Did you call?
Yeah, I used three different methods. I was
Okay.
emailing, calling, and also writing messages
How did you write the messages?
via phone,
Okay.
so SMS.
Yes, because I have to mention that your boss,
Mm.
Mari Piira, she said that you were really persistent, and actually it's part of can be part of a job interview. You know, if you show that you really want it,
Yeah.
you can get it.
And she said it was one of the reasons why they actually took me, because she saw that I wanted to get the place.
Excellent. So, what kind of advice would you like to give for students that have all that ahead of them?
I would say make a list of companies where you want to go.
Exactly.
So if one company says, unfortunately, we cannot take you, don't give up, go to the next one, and so on. And I had a list of at least 5 different companies. Polar was on top, and then some guys at school told me that probably it's too high for you, don't aim that high.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, inside myself, I thought that okay, probably it's a bit too high for me, but you know, why not to try?
Excellent. Did you contact the other 4 companies as well?
No, I had them on the list. I didn't want to contact them before I get the final decision from Polar.
Excellent. Okay.
And that's why I started in advance, that I would have time. If Polar would say me, for example, in March or April, that they cannot take me, that I still have time to contact other companies.
So the message is that if you really want to work in some specific company, take enough time
Exactly.
and find out who's the right person,
Exactly.
and then be persistent.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about your actual tasks? What kind of tasks have you done during your practice there?
Okay, I did quite many things in there. Well, basically, I was intern in marketing,
Marketing communication.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was marketing communication intern and then graphic design intern.
Okay.
So there were quite different tasks. For example, for the marketing communication part, I had to help other team members in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was making orders, I was creating presentations for them, which they used further on, for example, in some high staff meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And actually one of my presentations was used in Russia when our, what's her position? She's director of retail.
Retail, yes.
Yeah, retail
Mhm.
director, and she had presentation in Russia presenting one of our products, and there was my presentation in background, and I was like, okay, that's quite cool.
Excellent. Okay. And how about the graphic design? Did you already have some skills in that part?
I had some sort of video editing skills, but I never edited any images,
Mm-hmm.
so that was quite new for me. But luckily there was, and there still is, a really nice person working at Polar who is responsible for graphic design, and she helped me a lot.
So you have learned also during
Yeah.
your practice a lot about. Have you learned new programs or?
Yeah, we were using, and we're still using Adobe Suite.
Yes.
Yeah. So Photoshop, Premiere Pro, After Effects,
Mm-hmm.
Adobe Audible, a lot of different programs.
Yes.
So all of those I learned there in Polar.
It seems that if you want to go to Polar, also it's a good thing if you possess some knowledge about this kind of skills.
Definitely.
Yes.
And even if you don't get there, quite many companies, they respect that. If you, I think soon, maybe in 5-10 years, knowledge of the Adobe products will be sort of like minimum requirement when you apply for the job, especially in the marketing.
So that's a good hint for everybody. Adobe kind of programs and skills related to them, develop them. Because we often ask what kind of skills should the students develop to be better positioned as we're looking.
So always should improve and try to keep track with the time.
Okay, besides of these skills, what other skills have you developed? And do you see that learning these new skills affects your future prospects in the working life?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely working in the international group, even though here at OMCO we have international groups, but
Yes.
I think the importance of working in the real company's international group is a bit higher, and there is much more, well, not much more, but there is more responsibility. And I think kind of finding the way how to approach different people there.
Mm-hmm.
So because people are different.
Yes.
And sometimes you have to sort of close your own thinking and try to understand what other person says to you. So learning to hear people, not just say whatever you think, but also hear them and then process it. And the best solution, of course, would be to find something in between your thoughts and other person's thoughts. But yeah, finding the solution how to approach people, that was definitely a thing which I learned there, and I think I'll benefit from it in the future.
I really like your saying that you should learn to listen. You know, it's a very good skill, and if you can communicate so that you can also process what you heard and maybe come back with something innovative after. Yeah. Okay. What do you think was the best experience during your training?
There were two things. First thing is related to graphic design part. Well, basically there was one video which we had to replace music in there. Or firstly, the manager was planning to pay quite big fee, in my opinion. It was about 4,000 euro for music rights. You know, I never worked in an international company, in big company, and 4,000 euro for me is big money. For them it's kind of nothing, but for me it was quite big money. And then I thought, why not to find music by myself? And then I found music, and in total it was maybe 200 euro and half day work. So I saved company approximately 4,000 euro just in half day.
Excellent. And did you get a feedback about that?
Yeah.
And I heard that some of the feedback is that your training is now finished, but they recruited you so that you can now work till the end of the year, whole days, and after next year till September, half days.
Yeah.
So tell something about that. How did it happen? How did they actually take you there, you know, after a practice?
Well, one person went to the maternity leave. She left on the maternity leave, and they needed someone to help there. And I was quite lucky actually to be in that situation. And my supervisor and whole team, they liked my performance. And then they asked, "Are you able to continue?" I said, "Sure."
Yes.
I can't miss that kind of opportunity.
So in DevLab, we are put into groups, and each group is given an assignment by a company or a teacher, and every group then has to proceed with that idea and go through gates, and after every gate, the worst ideas are put to the grave, and the better ideas go through and continue to the next gate, and so on. And at the end, for us it's Christmas, but at the end we then present our final ideas to some judges and decide who's the winner. We also have many people from abroad, such as the Netherlands, Belgium, Czech Republic, Slovakia. So it's a really multicultural environment. So you get to know very different cultures and to work with different people. So you get that teamwork aspect also.
So for example, we are from the BIT line, but there are also people from psychology and marketing, and so we have experts from different fields, which helps us with creating our projects. I really liked working in DevLab because not only there's the international aspect and you get to meet people from different fields of education, but I also get to practice my own field of profession and get to learn more about working with my own profession in an environment that's, well, it's not easier to work in, but maybe less harsh than what real marketing